To the question that the students don't have enough background, when I wrote the book, I made longer introductory dialogues at the beginning of each unit, and I also created this thing called 20 questions, which has extended listening in it, all right? In this way, they're going to get more than just the simple English that they usually get in the other textbooks, right? The 20 questions section and the introductory dialogue will contain language that they will probably understand 80 to 90% of the language that's in there. So they're getting used to hearing English at what Stephen Krashton calls comprehensible input. That means comprehensible means they're able to understand it, all right, as they're listening, all right? So there's less frustration, and this allows them to review material they studied before, review the material in the lesson, and also get a little bit of new information that they may hear 2 or 3 lessons later, all right? If you listen to my dialogues or you listen to my one-to-one, the speed is natural. We don't really slow it down very much. What we do is add space in between the phrases and in between the sentences so the students can process a little bit of what they hear before they go on to the next utterance. So the utterances of the language that they're hearing is the same natural speed, but they get a little bit of time to process it before they hear the next one. All right? So we're keeping the speed fairly natural. You'll notice that I did something very weird that most writers of textbooks in Taiwan will not do. Was I came from Kaohsiung to Taipei to go to the recording session to make sure that the teachers were not speaking English like Disney characters, but speaking English quite naturally. Because the natural speech is a very important part of the learning situation. So when I say that they don't have a chance to hear natural speech, they will hear natural speech and understand natural speech in the one-to-one book series. Stories that I created for one-to-one, especially as you move from book 1 to book 2, the more language they get, the better their language, the more able I am to make it more interesting for them. So the one-to-one becomes almost like when you finally get to book 2, even at the end of book 1, becomes more like a soap opera, with the characters having very special problems that are resolved by the end of the lesson. Problems not just buying a bar of soap or washing a glass or going to the grocery store, but somebody said, "Oh my God, I just broke my mom's favorite vase and I don't know what to say." All right, and then later on, the problem is finally resolved with telling the mom, and the mom is okay with it anyway. Right, so it kind of tells a little kind of real life like story, oftentimes with a kind of problem. All right, this gets students interested. It gets students, makes it a happier kind of lesson for them. Right? Taking the dialogue, taking the grammar and splitting it into a dialogue. For example, if you were 5 years older, what would you do? That grammar pattern, you could turn it into conversation. What if you were 5 years older? And the other person would say, I would blah, 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 blah. And what if? So you take the original main grammar pattern and split it up to some kind of conversational exchange. Right, so, and then give them many ways to give them many topics to change using that same grammar, where they're actually having a little conversation. They're still getting the intensive practice, but in a dialogue, communicative sort of way. All right, which makes the grammar a little more, gives more life to the grammar. Okay. Finally, I said they didn't have enough confidence. Well, confidence comes from listening to an extended dialogue in natural language and understanding it. Confidence doesn't come from a teacher who explains everything all the time, and they are all reliant on the teacher to understand. But then when they get into a natural situation, they don't understand and they have no confidence. All right. So the 20 questions, that extended listening, natural listening helps them build confidence. They're also the guided dialogues. They're working by themselves and practicing by themselves. Also, in one-to-one, there's something we call up to you, and I put in a lot of other little discussion questions here, discussion questions there, little things where there is no one correct answer. They have to use their language creatively to express just little things about themselves. It doesn't take a lot. They don't have to get out there and make a speech in English, but they can spend 10 or 15 minutes saying something new in English, expressing something about themselves in English that will actually help them build some confidence.